fucking Biden talking in the White House?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Biden.
Signal Peak, situated in the southwestern quadrant of the state of Arizona, lies within the Kofa National Wildlife Refuge. It is about 4 hours away from Phoenix and makes for an awesome long day hike. The asphalt is gone and now we're on the dirt road onto those mountains. Continuing on the dirt road, our goals ahead of us in the foreground. Now the road is very, very bad. Very, very bad. But we're getting there. Off roads, jagged peaks, and some desert vegetation. That's where we're headed. This is quite an obstacle course. Following the map and the trail. And ready to climb. Yep. Yep. Inside, on the trail we go. The goal is to get to the top of that mountain. There are some cairns, and that is the trail. Continuing on further and seeing where we go. We came from over there, across this little wash, and now continuing further on. Now it's slowly starting to get steep. Having come from there, over there yonder, we're now continuing further ahead on towards the top. The terrain is pretty rough. Nothing too bad. Just gotta look out for the cactus, the thorns, the rocks, and some shrubbery. Going further.
Are you talking to your penis?
There's a cactus, and making further progress on the trail. As you can tell, we've gained a significant amount of elevation already, but we still got long ways to go. So I'm taking it step by step, breath by breath, and hopefully it'll take us where we need to go. Continuing further along, knowing that I'm on the right path, given those cairns stacked up on top of those rocks. And of course, the fact that we're in the canyon and there are not many other trails visible. That's where I came from, and that's back to where I gotta go. Continuing the upslope walk up this trail. Gotta follow that and keep going up. This is the view looking back. Our vehicle is parked somewhere over there. That gives you an idea of how far we've come. Just pausing for a breather before continuing to move on up further. Now the trail is steeper and more slippery, but still worth the adventure nevertheless, thanks to wonderful views and the exciting opportunity of making it to the top. Now the trail has gotten very slippery and rocky, so I got to be very calculating and careful on my feet placement. So I'll go slow, steady, because slow and steady wins the race, and keep making my way up that route. Continuing further along. Over there is where we parked. We've covered all this distance and height. The trail brought us here to this point. Now I'm poised to go further ahead on that route. So the trudge continues up this way and eventually around. Having come from there and taken my previous set of pictures from over there in the center of your screen, I took a few steps more, and now I'm poised to hit that outcrop of rock where my friend is sitting at before I proceed further into the canyon. Taking a quick break on this ledge and savoring the views of this amazing valley in the Kofa Mountains Preserve. The way behind me is where we gotta go further, so I'm just catching a few breaths and enjoying this moment before I exert myself again. Continuing on further up along this valley on this trail, with the eventual goal being that knob over there where those people are at. We've got some ways to go, so let's keep up the pace. Getting to the section of the trail where switchbacks are slowly becoming visible. There are some other people up there you can see in the center of your screen, and I'll continue taking steps upwards. This is the view of the part of the trail traversed thus far. The trail's starting to get a little rocky again and steep, but that's okay because we're gaining elevation with every step. So that's a good thing, because we know that eventually we'll make it to the top sooner than later. Continuing on further, up, continuing further up this rocky section and enjoying the views. Pausing for a quick bit to show you the trail from this point. It's getting a little steep and rocky as opposed to slippery. That's the view of the area that we came from. You can see the Kofa Mountains much more clearly now.
drive the other way too.
Yep.
There's another highway over there, I think.
Yep. This trail is steep and slippery. Gotta be very, very careful. Yep. Coming up from there was no easy task. But these views and the promise of something better keeps us going. Cactuses are very dangerous. Yeah. Absolutely. They can hurt if they pierce through your shoes into your skin. After running into those people, we took a quick break here, and we're now headed back down before we get to the top, which supposedly is about the same distance from here as the trailhead. Let's see if we can beat the daylight and make it there in time for the views. Further up on rocks and changing views. Continuing further on up, where the trail supposedly makes a turn to the left. Some boulders to climb on, so I'm gonna go both hands on for a bit and climb that stretch. Up that way, climb this boulder, and then heading that way on over there. Continuing on further through the valley, around the rock, onwards towards the center. Going up the rock. Yep, follow the cairns. Come up from there over here, we're now basically following this wash and walking along the cairns up the wash further towards the left. We're supposed to go up there and follow the trail all the way up. Let's just keep going and enjoy the excitement. Through the rocks and the patches of vegetation on the trail before continuing on upwards. Our starting point is now obscured by those rocks. So yes, we've come all the way up, and now we're continuing progress further on upwards beyond that outcrop. One false peak after the other. The trail just keeps going further on and on and on. Continuing on further up. Very slippery and steep, but making it where we came from in the distance to where we're at now and where we got to go further on that ways. Passing through some shrubby sections full of creosotes and pines, passing through a very rocky section and climbing up along this little gully. Up on further. height gain just keeps getting more and more obvious with each passing step. Having climbed this ledge, I'm here right now, and I gotta say thank you to whoever placed these cairns for our reference, because without these it would take much longer to navigate this unmarked path and go up. But we're slowly making progress to the top. Continuing up, and up the steep slope. Where I came from, where I'm at now, and what I'm having to navigate to go to the top. Taking a breather to look back at the distance covered, observing the trail, and planning the steps to supposedly the top. So we're going to go that way. Continuing on, up and up, with the beautiful views in the backdrop and some motivating scenes and trails up above. Continuing further on up, the name of this mountain is called Signal Peak. So logically, it would make sense that we get reception and signal on the top. Does it not? Well, we shall find out. Further up, and up. Pausing for a quick second to show you the views. Came from there, over here now, and suspense. What is ahead of us? Huh? What? Nice. Okay. This is a very interesting view. Wow. You can see that rock. Beautiful. Peak is now within range, and we're making steady and continuous progress with the eventual goal of making it to that peak. It's cloudy and a bit cold, but perfect hiking conditions. The final stretch before the summit. Pausing to take a look at the Kofa Mountains area in the vicinity. That's the way we came from, up like that. Okay, on the last and final climb. Looks like my friend's already reached, and I'm headed that way.
Signal Peak, guys, made it. Buddy.
And we officially made it to the top. Here's the USGS marker. This officially marks the top of the peak. Now, I'm going to go up and give you all a 360-degree panorama tour of what I'm seeing right now from the top. This is absolutely magnificent. Something that I've not done in the last 15 years that I've been and windy at the top, but worth every bit of pain and torture. For you can see these views and see for yourself how majestic this place is. Very pristine, very clean, very scenic. I'm using my cell phone right now in the panorama mode to give you a 360-degree wide-angle perspective of this magnificent view from the top of Signal Peak in the Kofa Mountain wilderness in western Arizona.
walk, I think.
On the top of this mountain right here is a lockbox with a diary and a visitor's log on it. I just wrote my name and date on it, and I'm now beautiful views of the summit. My friend standing at it is located. Writing my name, I'm closing the box back to keep it safe from the elements and as a courtesy for the other hikers. It is very, very cold and windy. So that's the top. Savoring the last few moments at the top before we head back down. To give you a perspective of the place, that's the trail that we came up by. So now when we go back down, we're going to go that way to the left, down that valley, and all the way back down to the bottom. It is very, very hard to stop photographing these amazing rock formations. It's gorgeous. It is extremely hard to stop taking photos and videos of these gorgeous views from the top. I can keep doing this all day. Okay, now huh? Yeah. Well, I did have a slip and a fall. Luckily it wasn't too bad. But that goes to show you how difficult this trail is. So I'm going to focus and start making my way back down while enjoying the last views of this mountain. Making it back down from that mountain. Yeah, it's all relative. Which one? I don't think so. No, but we can check it out. Continuing further down and hoping to explore it a little bit and see if those are ruins or caves or what those are while saying goodbye to these spectacular vistas. Okay, we just came to check these out. Looks like this is a safe spot for animals and for human beings in the past to keep protected against the elements. They look like ruins, but they're not really ruins because there's no evidence of any petroglyphs or any sacred civilizations anywhere. It's just a nice little hollow in a cave that people can sleep on and of course enjoy some nice views of the mountain. So that over there is where we're at. That's the summit. And now we're headed back down towards the right. So In an attempt to pass the daylight and beat it, we're hurrying down while trying to make sure we don't fall, and we still have time to enjoy these beautiful vistas. Playing some echo games. And prepping to go further down. The spot here is perfect for echoes. Woo! Woo! Back to the vegetated patch. Gotta be really, really careful going down because this is very thorny and slippery. Gotta navigate this very carefully, which I managed to. And now I'm headed further down, back into familiar territory. Further down, with the clouds having thickened up, making for some really nice photos. Yeah, I hate snakes, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with those. Yeah, I hate those. I hate snakes. Us being in the valley right now and slowly descending, the wind is on the other side. So over here it's very still, and hence, despite the same temperatures, it feels much warmer than it was back at the top. As you can see, we've made a lot of progress from the top, but we've still got some ways to go. So I'm gonna show you my feet and give you a perspective of where we need to go. A few drops of rain have started to fall, so we're gonna have to hurry up and get back. The forecast does not anticipate a lot of rain, but nevertheless, this is a very bad place to be caught during a rainstorm. You can see the drops falling if you can, and so I'm gonna start heading back down. Well, actually, there comes the rain. Yep, that's rainfall in the desert. Back on the rocks and dodging the raindrops, moving further downwards. A bit further along, trying to beat the daylight and the rainfall now. Look at that puddle. There's water falling, and that's rainfall. Yes, it does rain in the desert. Sometimes. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. But make sure to come, because the desert needs you. Taking a few steps further downwards in the rain and enjoying these vistas. Spectacular vistas. So came back that way, and now I'm going to take a quick break underneath that cave where my friend's at, just to get some shade from the rain for just a bit before it tapers off. Came down that way from the cave up there. The rain stopped for a bit, but it started to fall again. So we decided that it's best to just proceed on our downward path in the rain. Raindrops keep falling on my head. You all remember that song? That's what comes to mind now. Yes, came down hard for a second, but just as we got to this place, well, the rain has stopped now, so we're continuing on further towards the saddle, and eventually back down behind the saddle at the center of your screen. So for now, that's the immediate goal. Making a quick memory of that little cactus that stuck my friend up his shoes, and taking a quick pause to look back at the path that we came from and reminisce a little bit about the trudge that we experienced up there. Having caught my breath and soaked in the view for a little bit, I am ready to embark on my journey further downwards, down over yonder, over there. Having come that way, taking a quick pause on this little outcrop before I continue down in towards that canyon, back down to our vehicle. It's very, very slippery here, so I'm having to be very careful. It's pretty steep, so one bad step and you'll be down all the way into that canyon. The good news is, where we parked is visible right there in the middle of your screen. So I'm going to fold my camera up and keep going for a bit. A bit further down, following the trail back, that's where we need to go. Towards the center of your screen, right there, down, back to that valley. Came back down through the shrubbery and continuing my steps further along the trail, downwards towards the canyon. The difference a few hundred feet in elevation makes. While I was freezing on the top, I'm actually profusely sweating right now as I make my way back down. That over there is the trail, and this is where I'm at. Further down towards that little ravine and enjoying these views that we enjoyed on the way up. That's where we came from, and now heading back down the canyon. Continuing further down this slippery canyon. It's very tricky to go down here, so I gotta be really careful while going down. As usual, I'm left with the task of following that little speck of a human being that you see in the middle of your screen. But, like they say, slow and steady wins the race. So I'm cautiously going down, trying hard to avoid falling or get scratched by thorns, and enjoying the view. Finally back to flatter ground where I can cover some distance at a reasonable clip, and hopefully the car is not too far away. More progress, more strides, and more hope for getting to the end of the trail soon. We've lost most of the vertical elevation by this point. So that's where we came from, way up there. Back to the wash again. Just crossed this and utilizing the cairn markers to continue forward. Yes, continuing further downwards towards the car with the beautiful mountains now in the rear view mirror. The trail is pretty smooth now, indicating that we're pretty close to the trailhead and to the vehicle. And just like that, the trail has come to an end, and I have exited this trail back to the main road, or what semblance of it is, and back to the vehicle. Okay, all set, ready to get out. Back on the dirt road towards the highway. It's a very rough road. for a quick bit to get a beautiful glimpse of the sunset. Got to be very, very careful about these dangerous cholla cactuses. These are very flimsy. These cholla pines look very pretty from a distance, but you dare not come within 6 inches from them, because these can jump at you with the wind, and if they poke you, you'll feel pain like never before. I learned that the hard way. That's the view of the area and the dirt road that we have to take to go back out towards Quartzsite and back to Phoenix. You can see my friend over there still trying to extricate those thorns out of his shoes. These are very, very, very painful. You do not want to go anywhere close to these dangerous objects. That behind me is the mountain range that we just conquered. Panning around to show you what's left of the sunset and these dangerous cholla pines and the view that we have to encounter on the way back to Phoenix. Where the dirt meets the road. Welcome asphalt in sight. Caught up with the rain. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and would like to see more like these, then please feel free to navigate to my page. Find the subscribe button in the top right corner and click on it. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.